was going to read Red on the cover, but this is kind of calling to me now, and well, it's Chisei Ogawa, so I already know everyone will be on the naughty list. So yeah, I'm going to unwrap these two new titles that I bought this year for 2020 that I've kind of been saving and I knew I was going to have to be in the mood for. Ooh, Chisei Ogawa. Naughty list for sure, I think. Hi, this is 365801 and this is day 8 of the 25 days of manga. For sure, this is definitely going to go down as the naughty list. Literally everyone in this manga should be on the naughty list for one reason or another. So yeah, this is what that's going to be. I found one particular image that I thought really encapsulated, and this is so twisted. I think that kind of sums up the whole work. I could just go now. I'll just leave that with you. But no, it was an interesting one, and it is definitely one for the naughty list. So this is Cast Heaven, volumes 1 and 2, story and art by Chisei Ogawa. These are both obviously Sublime titles, translation by Adrian Beck. I think volume 1 came out in March, and yes, volume 2 came out in June. So that is when they came out. Now, it is something that I wasn't necessarily going to mention, but then I kind of noticed that it's a good example. I was going to make a video around May-June time because I noticed something about the publishing of manga in the UK, and I'm sure quite a few people who collect in the UK noticed it as well. And that was the price hike that happened across the board in manga for UK prices. It's something I'm a little bit obviously concerned about, because if I wanted a manga that was originally priced at $8.99, which volume 1 is, and I got it for example, like 25% off, I could get it for £6 something, and that always felt like a good deal. Whereas volume 2, which is just a few months later, is priced at £9.99 UK pounds, and a 25% off that doesn't make it £6 something, it still makes it £7 something, so it doesn't ever feel like I'm getting the same kind of deals as I did, and I'm still looking for the same prices that I became used to. You know, if I get something for about £6 something, I'm like, oh, that's good, that's around how much I'm okay with spending for a single volume, and yet I'm not getting that nearly as much now. It's usually around the £7 something, and then you have to just think that's as good as it's going to get. So that's something that happened, which as I said, I was going to make a video about, because if you look on the back, it's $12.99 USA for both volumes 1 and 2, and it's $17.99 Canadian for both volumes, and yet there was a price hike between volume 1 and volume 2. If you're in the UK, you'll know what I'm talking about. I also think it's quite interesting because when I noticed this back in May, June, that time, I looked through quite a few other publishers and other print volumes and to just compare prices, and it was quite interesting to see that in volume 9 of his favourite was $14.99 Canadian dollars, but volume 10 of his favourite was $17.99 Canadian dollars. But the USA seems to just be $12.99 the whole time. So there's been price hikes for different countries, Canada especially, during volumes 9 and 10 of his favourite. But here it's the UK that's had the price hike. And I thought it was quite interesting because just a couple of months earlier, the Chancellor had actually announced that there was going to be like a reduction in the cost of books. I think it was the digital books. I don't think you need to pay VAT on digital books anymore. It used to be that you'd have to pay VAT, which was up to about 20% on a digital volume of manga. And so actually the difference in cost between a digital and a print in the UK wasn't all that much, so I always wanted to go for the print because then I actually had the physical copy. When there's only £1 or £2 in it, I much prefer to just pay those extra £2. But now it seems like there might be more of a difference because you're getting VAT taken off the digital and you're getting an extra £1 slapped onto the price of the print. So yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if anyone else has noticed that. It just really is quite obvious when it comes to Cast Heaven and the fact that they were both printed just a couple of months apart, but there is a full £1 of a difference, which when you're buying manga makes a big difference. So yeah, off topic, but one of the videos I was going to be making this year and didn't bother, so I just thought I would talk about it here. Now, moving on to the actual story of Cast Heaven. I obviously knew a bit about it. I think it was being published around the time I was last in Japan, so I was aware of this. It was very popular. It was all over the place. It's basically a very cruel and allegorical game that is played involving playing cards in classrooms across this school, when every card corresponds to the caste or a class of person that you are. This is something that, if you're aware of a class system or a caste system, it's something that society has done for a long time, but we just kind of accept it. So this is very much like shining a light, or holding up a mirror to society and saying, hey, this is what we actually do as humans. We do it in real life. But here it is played out in the most cruel and sexually deviant and violent and aggressive way for you to see and consume as entertainment. But hey, it happens. So I thought it's an interesting one. And Ogawa Chise is very honest as well in her own assessment. She knows that this is not something that everyone is going to want to read and want to buy, and that she's not going to have all of her fans purchase this work. She's quite clear about that. So she's aware of it, that it's polarizing and that it's quite disturbing and it's not always an entertaining ride. There's a sense of foreboding in the first one, especially the first volume. You really fear for Azusa, who was the king and has now become the target, and of course the underlying almost psychopathic nature of Karino, who was Azusa's right-hand man but turned king, and therefore is tyrannical, and it's quite interesting in the dynamics of it. I found this a little bit difficult to read, just purely for that tension building in the first volume, but once I got used to it, this is just nuts. I kind of relaxed into it and just kind of went with the flow, because it is quite beautiful. It's lovely, it's very nicely drawn, the characters and the artwork is really nice. It's very, very beautiful and easy to read. It's just disturbing. That's the only main problem, is how disturbing it is. Sexually violent as well, and you just kind of have to go along for the ride. And yeah, I'm not entirely sure I would recommend this to everyone. This is definitely not for newbies to the genre. You have to be hardened BL fan to go into this one and be like, oh, okay, cool. Like me, hardened and jaded and lacking in emotion. I do find it very sexy. I do find it very interesting, and I enjoyed reading it. I just find it sad when there's, the bullying aspect, which is not very nice. But as I said, it's the allegory being played out in front of us. I do have to say, when I got to volume 2, chapter 8 was particularly disturbing. If you've read chapter 8, and that quote that I showed you, "This is so twisted," that was from the end of chapter 8, and it was very, very, very disturbing. I really didn't like that. But then, hey, it's part of the story. Volume 3 has been released, and I think lots of people have now got Volume 3. I am now going to have to try and get myself a copy because I do actually enjoy this work a lot. It's not one for everyone, but it's one for me. I do enjoy this kind of work, and I also absolutely love Ogawa Chise's artwork. I do like her characters as well. They're always ambiguous. There's never a good guy. There's always something maybe disturbing or not quite right, or makes you think kind of about each of her characters. So yeah, in this one, Cast Heaven, there is not a good guy. There is no redeeming characters. The teachers are trash. The pupils are trash. The parents are trash. Society's trash. It's just like, ugh. But also, hey, isn't life like that as well sometimes? So, yeah, an interesting one. I'm not going to recommend it to everyone, but I think if you enjoy some things, like I think if you enjoy Fourth Generation, you'll probably like that, or Jealousy, you probably like this one as well. So it's the ones that make you feel slightly disturbed and uncomfortable, and this is definitely one to do that. So yeah, I felt disturbed and uncomfortable, and you know what? I liked it. If you liked Cast Heaven, let me know what you liked about it in the comments. And if you didn't, let me know what you didn't like about it. Because I do enjoy other people's opinions on polarizing BL manga. And I think this one is polarizing. Like Marmite, you either love it or you don't. And if you don't, you probably hate it. So yeah, Cast Heaven, a good new read for 2020. I will need to get volume 3. So we'll see what I've got next. In fact, I've already started reading my next one for tomorrow's video because it's great and I love it. So look forward to that. Remember, every day is a BL day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!